Hi, this is Praveen. Now let us continue the Indian geography. So previously we have discussed about the Himalayas. Himalayas are just about to the Great Plains of India. Now let us start discussing about the Great Plains of India. These Great Plains of India is situated between the Indus River here and the Brahmaputra River here. And these Great Plains of India were drained by few rivers like Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. And now let us look at the boundaries of this Great Plains of India. Firstly, let's start with the north. The north of this Great Plains of India, we find the Shivalik Hills as you have discussed earlier. And then if we go to the east, we find the Purvanchal Hills. And if we go to the south, we find the Peninsula Plateau in this region. And then if we go to the west, we find the Sulayman Ranges and the Kothwar Ranges in this Pakistan country. Now these are the boundaries of Indo-Gangetic Plain. Now let us go to the Great Plains of India. These Great Plains can also be called as the Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra Plains, and it can be also be called as the Northern Plains. So now these Great Plains can be categorized based as the mesoregions and the physiographic regions. These two are the various types of regions in Great Plains. But before going to these regions, let us first start discussing about the formation of these Great Plains of India. These Great Plains were formed recently after the formation of Himalayas. That is, finally we have the formation of Shivaliks as we know. And after the formation of Shivaliks, we have few Himalayan rivers that were draining into this region. And they have brought few sediments and which were called as the conglomerates. These conglomerates are the combination of the silt and the stones of the riverbed and the alluvium that is situated in those regions. And the Himalayan rivers, the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, they have brought these conglomerates to this region, which is called as the Great Plains of India. That is how the Great Plains of India was born. And it is the formation of Great Plains of India. Now first let's start discussing about the mesoregions. Mesoregions is nothing but division of this Indo-Gangetic Plains into various plains. So before going to the mesoregions of India, let us see few characteristics. So this Great Plains of India, it has a length of 3200 kilometers from Indus River to Brahmaputra River, and it is situated for 2400 kilometers of length in India, and its width varies from place to place as you can observe here. Its width is 150 kilometers in the region of Assam, and its width is 320 kilometers at the region of Punjab. So these are the key things. Now these Great Plains, they have the alluvium, rich alluvium, and the alluvium composition increases as we move from the south to the north. So now let's go to the mesoregions. Firstly, let's begin with Pakistan. In Pakistan, we have mainly two mesoregions or two plains. They are, the first one is this one. This is the Sindh Plains. Sindh Plains is drained by the river Indus, and this Sindh Plains got its name from the Sindh province that is situated in the country Pakistan. And this is situated just besides to the Kothwar Mountains and the Sulayman Mountains right here. And it is over the Sindh Plains, and then we have the next one which is called as the Punjab Plains. This Punjab Plains is shared by both Pakistan and India. Pakistan has a larger territory, and this Punjab Plains is drained by the Indus River and its tributaries. And here we find the Doabs in this region of Punjab Plains. This Doabs is nothing but when two rivers they meet, it is called as the Doabs. And in this region we find most number of Doabs because of the reason that the Indus River tributaries they meet at various points at various times. And it is about the Punjab Plains. Next, let's come to here. This is called as the Central Plains. Central Plains is mainly drained by the Ganga River and its tributaries. First, let's start discussing about the first one, that is the Upper Ganga Plains. Upper Ganga Plains is drained by the river Ganga and river Yamuna and the rivers like Ramganga and the Gagra, which we will discuss later when we will discuss about Himalayan rivers. And it is about the upper Ganga plains, and in this upper Ganga plains the velocity, the speed of the river is very high because of the reason that they were newly born. That's why we call it as the youth stage of the river or the upper course of the river. So this upper Ganga plains is nothing but the upper course of Ganga river. And next we have the middle Ganga plains. These middle Ganga plains are also drained by Ganga river and its tributaries like the rivers, the Gandak river, the Son river, etc. And in this middle Ganga plains, the velocity is medium. And finally, we have the next one, that is lower Ganga plains. This lower Ganga plains is drained by the rivers like Ganga river, and also we find few rivers like the Suvarnareka river and the Damodar river. These rivers drain these lower Ganga plains, and at the lower Ganga plains we find the velocity of the river very low because of the reason that they have spread all the sediments, the conglomerates which are present with them in the upper Ganga plains and the middle Ganga plains. And after this lower Ganga plains, next let's go to this plains which is called as the Brahmaputra plains. In this Brahmaputra plains, we have the sediments that were brought by the Brahmaputra river, and these Brahmaputra plains were mainly situated in the region of Assam, and it was not found in these surroundings because we have the Purvanchal hills here, the Shivaliks here, and we have the Meghalaya plateau which is situated in this region. That is the reason why we have these Brahmaputra plains only in Assam. And after this Brahmaputra plains, next let's go to the final one, that is nothing but the delta plains. These delta plains mainly comprises of few deltas, and in these deltas, delta is nothing but the distributaries that were formed by the river leads to the formation of deltas, and in few cases we find the formation of estuaries. And here we have the triangular shaped formation of the distributaries of the river Ganga. That's why we have here as a delta. Delta is situated in this, delta is in the shape of a triangle, and this delta plains is shared by both Bangladesh and India. India comprises 1/3 of this delta plains, and this Bangladesh shares a total of 2/3 of this delta plains. And the delta that was situated in this region is nothing but the Sundarbans delta, which is the world's largest delta, and it covers an area of 75,000 square kilometers. And this Sundarbans delta is also called as the Ganga Brahmaputra delta because of the reason that the Ganga river right here and the Brahmaputra river, they combine here and they leads to the formation of this delta plains in the final stage. And in this stage, the river's speed would be nearly equal to zero. Their speed will be very low, and due to that reason we call it as the old stage of the river. And at this middle regions we call it as, in the middle regions we call it as the mature stage of the river or the middle course of the river. So these are the mesoregions. Now let's look at the physiographic regions. And one more thing to mention about mesoregions is that these mesoregions can be characterized based on few factors like the geoclimatic conditions of the place and the topographical characteristics of this region. And now let's go to these physiographic regions. These physiographic regions is all about the characteristics, the surface characteristics in the region of Great Plains of India. So these physiographic regions, they contain mainly 5 categories. So let's write it over here. The first one is the Babar. The second one is the Terai. The third one is the Bangar. The fourth one is the Khadar. And the final one is the Delta. So let's start discussing about all these 5 physiographic regions. Firstly, let's start with Babar. Babar is situated at the foothills of the Shivaliks, as you can observe. And They were situated from the Indus River right here to the Teesta River. And so this region is Babar. This Babar is situated in the foothills of the Shivaliks. That's why here we find most number of pebbles, and that is the reason why we call it as a pebble zone. And its width is 8 to 16 kilometers. And when small streams of rivers, they come into this Babar region, they would disappear because of the rocks that were situated in the region of Babar. And when large streams they enter into this Babar region, we could find that there is no change in their shape and change. And in this Babar, we have it to be at the foothills of the Shivaliks, and it runs parallel to the Shivaliks. And after Babar, we have another region, that is the Terai. Babar is the pebble zone, and when the rivers that disappear in this Babar region, they come into this Terai region, and when they come to this Terai region, they will re-emerge as the rivers. And these rivers, when they come into this region, they would become the marshlands. That means it is one of the fertile lands in the region of Indo-Gangetic Plain. And it is a total of 15 to 30 kilometers in width. And it stretches only from the Ganga River to the Teesta River. It is about the Terai region. And one more thing about Terai, here we have the agricultural lands highly, and we also find the few fossil fuels of animals like hippopotamus, elephants and rhinoceroses, etc. And after Terai, we have one more region that is situated towards the north and also towards the south. So the region that is situated too far away from this Ganga River is called as Bangar. And the region that is situated very nearer to this Ganga River is called as the Khadar. In this Bangar, we find the old alluvium. That means when this Ganga River is bringing the conglomerates to the region of Great Plains, then what happens is that they bring the conglomerates every year very newly. And when they bring new alluvium or the new conglomerates, their sediment or their deposit in the region of Khadar. And the previous ones which were situated in Khadar, they would come to the region of Bangar. And at this Bangar and this Khadar regions, we find the high number of agricultural crops like the rice and sugarcane. And at Khadar, we have it is situated nearer to this Ganga River. That means it is very fertile land. And then in this Bangar region, soil which is called as the Kangar. Kangar is the soil that was situated in Bangar, and in this Bangar it is situated mainly very far away and below this Terai region. And in this Bangar itself, we have few rivers that were draining in this region like the Son River, Damodara River, etc. And it is about Bangar and Khadar. And finally, let's go to the Delta Plains. As you have seen earlier, when we were discussing about mesoregions, we have seen that these Delta Plains are situated 1/3 in India and 2/3 in Bangladesh. And in this region of Delta Plains, we have the high number of depositing in this region, because here these rivers they start eroding the particles that were situated in the Himalayas. That means here the process of erosion takes place. Erosion is a process which is a phase in the denudation process. This denudation is nothing but the breaking down of rocks into various pieces. And these denudating agents are mainly four. They are the wind, the air, the water, the glacial action. And about these three types of landforms, we will discuss when we go to the geomorphology. And after that, these rivers, when they come here, they start depositing the particles that were eroded here. And they start depositing, and here we have the formation of new depositional landforms of this fluvial landforms, we will say, because this is the rivers. The landforms made by rivers is called as fluvial landforms. And here we have the depositional features of these fluvial landforms can be occurred. And that is the reason why we have the depositing high number in this region. So it is about the physiographic region. So this is about the northern plains of India.